Welcome to the Quick Start video series for the BladeWorks SabreBPM. This is a two-part video series. Right now in part one, we are going to get the SabreBPM up and running. Then we will learn how to view what is being measured and reported. Then in part two, after an overnight measurement, we will explore how to easily adjust your SabreBPM to function properly at your site and for your isotope of interest. First, let's examine the contents of your box. Here we have the SabreBPM. We will refer to it as the BPM from now on. The CD. This is full of information from manuals and spectrum templates to the backup software and training videos. Also, much of our information can be found on our website. Next, we have some paperwork, including a calibration certificate and burn-in data. An AC adapter for charging purposes. A sync cable for connecting the BPM to a workstation when necessary. Lastly, the flow calibration aid, which is used to calibrate the airflow of the BPM. You can refer to our flow calibration training video on the CD or on the website for instructions. Flow calibration is typically performed at the same time as energy and efficiency calibrations. The BPM is shipped fully charged, but it may have discharged some since then. So let's plug it in. You should see the LED turn red to indicate charging. It will change to green when it's at 100%. Okay, let's turn the BPM on. Be prepared, the audible alarm may come on and the pump will start running. So press the red button to turn it on. From its full shutdown mode, the boot up process takes about 15 seconds. If the alarm is going off, now is a good time to adjust the volume to your liking. With the light stack in the upright position, twist the ribbed base until the appropriate volume is achieved. I'll leave mine quiet for this presentation, but you will probably want yours at full volume while monitoring your work area. While it's booting up, the BPM may ask some questions. Click Yes to continue without full battery charge, then click Skip to bypass the response check for now. You can learn when and how to do one in a response check training video. Now let's take a look at the filter to make sure one is installed correctly. On the radial entry sampling head, the silver component protruding from the right side, just twist the filter holder until the notches on the cap line up with the screws and pull it out. You should see a white filter being held against the filter holder by the pump suction. Because the detector face is such a delicate surface, it is important to note that while the detector is exposed like this, it should not be touched. Peel the filter off from the edge, being careful to not damage the face of the filter. You will see the words pump side. This is the correct direction to install a filter. With the smooth face towards the detector and the shiny fibrous side reading pump side against the black filter support. Measurements are made by pulling air through this filter, depositing particulates on its surface which are constantly monitored by the detector. When the captured particulates decay, the emitted alpha and or beta particles are detected by the BPM. Ultimately, this is what allows the instrument to measure and alarm on radioactive particles. Now, just realign the filter correctly, push the filter holder back in, and twist it to lock under the screws. The instrument is up and running now. Let's take a brief look at what the instrument is reporting. On the screen, there are three basic regions displayed: the menu, the meter, and the historical log. The historical log records readings every minute by default, as well as log every event as it happens, like a high alarm. You can learn how to access the log files, graph the readings, and interpret the data in the manual under the section, retrieving and analyzing the data. The meter display can be cycled through various current readings by pressing either the channel button or the units button. The channel button cycles through the items being measured. It should be currently displayed on beta/C normal. This indicates that the BPM is currently displaying the beta reading. The C stands for chronic, which is a very accurate reading averaged over the last 4 hours and is updated every minute. The alternate measurement to the chronic reading is the acute reading, represented with a letter A. The acute beta measurement is a short average reading of the last 2 minutes, updated every second. While not as accurate like the chronic reading, it provides very fast response to high airborne concentrations. Think of the acute reading as a quick response time and a chronic as a long-term average. The status after the colon is normal, which indicates that everything is okay within the alarm limits. The Units button, as expected, cycles through the available units. You will probably recognize most of them. They are DAC hour, DAC, counts per second, and picocuries. Because of our real-time radon compensation, the number being reported is the net beta reading. This is calculated by subtracting the radon-generated betas and the fixed beta background from the gross beta measurements. If you did not order any additional options with your BPM, you can press the channel button and it will cycle to report the flow in liters per minute. If it does not cycle straight to flow, this indicates that your BPM was ordered with additional options. If you ordered your BPM with the alpha reporting option, there will be several readings reporting the radon progenies. If we press the channel button a few times, it will cycle through them. Polonium-212, acute and chronic. Polonium-214, acute and chronic. Polonium-218, acute and chronic. Each of the radon progeny readings has the same units available. Let's cycle through them now. DAC hour, picocuries per liter, counts per second, and picocuries. The alpha reporting option also reports up to 2 isotopes of interest. The factory default is set up to measure only one isotope, plutonium-239. Each of the isotopes of interest has the same units available as the radon progenies with the addition of reporting in DAC. If the instrument is ordered with the radon mode option, it will not be reporting the beta readings. Instead, it will report the PAEC, or potential alpha energy concentration. The units for PAEC are milliworking level hour, milliworking level, counts per second, and picocuries. It also measures the lead-214 isotope, the polonium-210 isotope, and a single user selected alpha isotope of interest, factory set for mixed uranium. All configurations of the BPM report the flow, whose status would be normal and units set to liters per minute. Other statuses include low flow, possibly indicating a loaded filter that needs to be changed, high flow, possibly indicating the lack of a filter, and flow fail, possibly indicating a malfunctioning pump, or most common, the pump is just turned off. Go ahead and press the channel and units button to cycle through all the items being reported and their status. Stop when it is reporting the chronic beta again. Okay, now we have one last step before leaving the instrument to continue its air sampling. In the menu, click View, then Spectrum. In place of the historical log is a bar graph. The x-axis is alpha energy and the y-axis is the number of alphas having that energy. So as more and more particles decay at the same energies, the taller those energy columns, or channels, will become. This is what we call an alpha energy spectrum. Right now, it is very sparsely populated, but as the BPM accumulates more data, a spectrum with 3 peaks should form from the naturally occurring radon progenies in the ambient air. In order to perform the energy calibrations for your site, we will need a well-developed spectrum with moderate radon levels, so it is best to perform these types of dose measurements in a room with little to no ventilation. Now, leave the BPM running to measure for several hours. This usually takes place overnight. When you see the spectrum has accumulated at least 2 well-defined peaks, like in this example, begin part 2 of this video series. This has been a BladeWorks instrument training video. Thank you for watching.